Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. How's everybody doing this morning? Miss Cynthia. What's up, Miss Lady? Coach Deborah. God bless you all. This morning, I am embarking on a new subject, y'all. So how's everybody doing? Who's going to go see the eclipse? Interesting day. Day 8th already. Man, I need your prayers too, man. I have, according to my device here, 26 days before election. Wow. 26 days. Coach Deborah, how are you doing? What about you, Jamal? How's everything going there in the Bahamas? Are you going to be looking? Did you get your daughter one of the eclipse glasses? Jamal, will you be out by the beach trying to see? Well, guys, this morning we're going to go ahead and dive into today's topic. I think this is going to be really good. I like what we're going to be talking about this week. And so, if you are ready for this week's topic, man, I promise you it's gonna be thought-provoking. Okay? It's gonna be thought-provoking. This week, we're diving into the subject matter at hand: past, present, future. Past, present, future. Yep, that's where we wanted to go. We wanted to go there because what I found to be true, Jamal, is that a lot of people, they don't take the time to study the past. They don't take the time to understand the importance of the present. They don't understand the role of us preparing for a future. So, with that said, we're going to dive into this past, present, future. Well, one of the reasons why, Lynette, I wanted to dive into this subject was because I feel as though people have to realize you need to learn from your past, live in your present, prepare for the future. Let me say it again. You want to learn from your past, write that down. You want to get that. You want to learn from your past. You want to live in the present. And you want to prepare for the future. That's the process. Okay? That's the process. So, a lot of people are trying to run from their past. A lot of people are trying to run to the future. A lot of people are dismissing the present. So there's this constant work that has to be done. There's this work that has to be done. Which work, Coach Miller? The work of realizing every now and again, you need to look back. You need to look back. And you need to assess. You need to study. You need to dissect. You need to really lean in and say, what lesson do I need to take from the past? What lesson? Because, oh man, we're going to talk about it. Okay, so in the hustle of our daily lives, it is easy to overlook the treasures of the past. The past has treasures. Yet understanding and studying our personal history can have profound impact on our journey to living life effectively. I want to talk about 3 things that I think is super important for us to grab a hold of as we embark on this journey. Okay? As we embark on this journey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to push this out? Okay? Number 1, learn when you look at the past. Okay, when you look at the past, here's what you can take from the past, Megs. Here's what you can take from the past, Angela. And today we're dealing with this subject matter. This week we're dealing with the subject past, present, future. Past, present, future. Now, today we're going to lean in more specifically on understanding the role of extracting the wisdom from the past. Okay? The importance of studying your past is what I want to lean into this morning. This week, we're going to be looking at past, present, and future with the intent of us realizing, Brittany, with us, you learn this whole concept that you, watch this, you learn from the past, you live in the present, you prepare for the future. And there's this constant work we must do. There's this constant work we must do where we can see that we have learned from the past. We are enjoying the present and we're setting ourselves up for an incredible future. Now, Angela, the danger here is if we don't study the past, we can ruin the future because in the present, we never had any grasp on how it impacts everything or how and why we're doing what we're doing. So, number one, when you learn to lean into the wisdom of extracting all of the truths from the past, the first thing you get is you learn from mistakes. Okay? Our past holds a wealth of lessons for both success and failure. When you really look back at your past, you see successes, you see failures. Okay? If you've really messed up, you see regrets even. But the question is, what did you learn? What did you learn? When looking at your past, you want to make sure that you're not looking at it with only regretful eyes. You're not looking at it sad and sorrowful. You're looking at it as, what can I learn from this? What was the lesson? What was the lesson? I look back at my past and I realize some environments aren't good for me. Some places I realize, oh man, it was the environment. I look back at my past and I realize it was some of the people. It was some of the people. Some people aren't good for me. I look back at my past and I realize what are some of my distractions? What distracts me? I look back at my past and I can see where my fears come from. Look back and see where my fears come from. I look back at my past and I can see where I played it small and never gave myself a chance to win. Okay? Look back at the past and I can see where opportunities were presented, but I allowed them to just pass by. Angela, opportunities were presented, but I allowed them to just keep on passing by. And I want to say to you today, you and I are responsible for extracting the gold, the gems, the valuable stuff that the past holds. If you can go back in your mind's eye and view all of the valuable stuff that you can extract, you could truly make the rest of your life the best of your life. How many of you have ever, you look back at your past and you realize that purchase, that car purchase was a bad buy, that shopping spree was a bad move, that, you know, what cost you commit, what were you thinking when you thought about hooking up with that person? Woo, these allergies and season. I should have taken the pills by now. Allergy and sinus pills. But listen, you look back and you ask yourself, what were you thinking? What did I learn? Okay, what influenced my decisions? Some of my decisions today, Miss Jocelyn, some of my decisions today are made so differently than were made 20 years ago. because how I came about my decision, I realized I looked back at it and it was a horrible recipe for decision making. And now I know, number one, you have to learn from your mistake. Now, if you don't change the recipe, you're going to end up with the same result. A lot of people, they want different, but they're not taking the time to learn the lesson. You got to learn the lesson. Learn the lesson from the past. What should I have done differently? What are all of the different scenarios? So watch this. If you don't study the past, some say you're bound to repeat it. Okay, some say you're bound to repeat it. So please make an effort to study your past, your patterns of behavior. Okay, your patterns of behavior. By analyzing your past decision and their outcomes, we can gain valuable insight to avoid repeated mistakes and make wiser choices moving forward. That's the goal. That is the goal. Okay. So, number two, when we look at the past and we want to grab a hold of the lesson that it's built within, number two, cultivate gratitude. Cultivate gratitude. This week we're talking past, present, future. And let me tell you something. This one right here, I like this one because I'm grateful. When we look at the past, reflecting on past experiences, challenges, and triumphs cultivates gratitude for how far we have come. It reminds us of the people and circumstances that shaped us, fostering humility and appreciation. You look back at your past and you say, "Boy, look at God. I'm stronger than I thought I was. I thought I would lose my mind, but I didn't. I thought purchasing that car would just literally, after it messed my credit up, I thought I would never have a comeback, but I came back stronger. After a failed business, after a foreclosure, after a repo deal, car repo, after, some health challenges, after a bad marriage, just could be so many things. Reflecting on past experiences, challenges, and triumphs cultivate gratitude for how far we have come. I am not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. How many of you could say that? Hello? Hello? I am not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. And so this week, I want you to start thinking about, okay, you could even have a gratitude list. I love how Coach Deborah has a conference in November centered around gratefulness. You made it this far. A lot of people, they're not enjoying life because the only thing they're looking at is what went wrong. A lot of people, they're not enjoying life because they're focusing on what went wrong. I'm going to say this and I'm done. Number three, as you look at your past, number three, it shapes future goals. Okay? It shapes future goals. In other words, where are you going? Where are you going? I know I want a future, but I know I don't want to repeat the same mistakes. Come on, write that down. I know I want a future. I know I will have a future. But the question is, have I studied the past enough to ensure that I don't repeat the same mistake? Do you know that they said, you would think, one friend told me not too long ago, hey man, they say with having a second chance to get married again, you really get a chance to do it right. I say, I totally agree. But you won't do it right if you didn't learn from the past. That's the reason why second marriages last much shorter. They don't last as long as the first marriage. And the third marriage is worse than the first two. The reason why is because most people are wanting to get married without getting the lesson that caused the failure in the relationship before. Okay? All right? So I know what I want in the future, but the question is, have I learned the lesson from the past to ensure that I don't repeat it in the future? So when you learn from the past, it shapes your future goals. Studying our past illuminates patterns. It shows us passion. It shows us purpose. It guides us in setting meaningful goals for the future, because you could say, hey, listen, I know what to move away from now. I know what to move towards to. Okay, by understanding where we've been, we can chart a clear path towards where we are wanting to go. So don't be afraid of your past. As a matter of fact, I'm concerned of anybody who says don't bring that up. When it comes to their past, you may need to go see a therapist. You may need to go get professional help. You want to bring it up. You want to know. You want to know. Oh my goodness. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about past in relations to even the people, places, and things that we need to look at to ensure that we're free. Some people, their promise is in front of them. Their promise is given to them, but they mess their promise up because they brought baggage from the past into the present that messed up their future. So because you didn't let it go, you're messed up even when you got what you prayed for, and you can't appreciate what you prayed for because you're still struggling with what you went through. So you got to get clear. You got to get free. You got to really do the work. And that's in any aspect where we find ourselves struggling. Wherever you're struggling, you need to look into it, especially when it is attached to past elements. When you realize where I am today, I am messed up. I'm dealing with some real issues, and it's built on past experiences. It's built on past experiences. And I'm here today to tell you, you and I have to be able to go back there and look at some childhood trauma. We have to look out there and identify some abuse, some verbal abuse, some mental abuse. Come on, man. Some psychological abuse, all kinds of stuff. Okay. And when I talk about getting better, better is not only external, better is also internal. I want to be stronger than I look. But the only way that's going to happen is if I go where I hadn't gone before, and I have to really deal with the hidden truths. That is truth, but it's been hidden. Okay. So I can ruin the future by not addressing the issues of the past in the present. So when a person says, I'm working on me, I remember, I'm going to close with this. I remember I was at a single phrase. This is true. I was single. I was living by myself after my divorce, and somebody started to talk to me, and they was interested in having a relationship. And I said, Jamal, listen to what I said. Jamal, are you listening? I said, you don't want to talk to me right now. I don't want to talk to you right now. And they looked at me. I was like, the reason why is because I'm still a mess. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Jamal? I said, I'm still a mess. Man, I still got trauma issues going on, man. I am messed up in my head. I don't even know what brought me to this place. To hook up with me right now and try to date me right now, it's called rebound. That would be just a quick hookup. That would be a relationship. And then, oh, don't let me go ahead and just decide to go quickly, go ahead and commit and get married. I was like, I ain't ready for no relationship. That's what I said. And it wasn't about the person. I just said, I got too much to go back over and to identify how messed up I must have been to bring myself to this current position where a big part of it had to be me. I'm not casting blame. There's so much decisions that went down behaviors that occurred that I have to do some work before I go ahead and recommit. So Karen got a 100%. I think I was always a pretty decent dude, but Karen got 100% a better dude. I'm not bragging, no boasting, but I did some work. I spent 3 years doing some work. Okay. Jamal, I went in there. I sat in the therapist chair. I gotta go. My time's up. I sat in the therapist chair and I said, talk to me about this. I went to prayer, asked God. I went to some fasting. I went to some praying. I had some brotherly circles where I talk with 2 or 3 brothers who are very candid and real. And I say, how come nobody ever told me this? How come emotional intelligence? I'm not sensitive at times. I could be rude and mean and hard. And that's because the way I came from and in regards to the street, emotional, there was just so much I missed, man. And I'm talking about from my childhood years, from the stuff I told them on the radio show in the Bahamas, the stuff the fellas them talked about as boys, majority of it was wrong. The stuff I saw in the neighborhood in relations to how people dealt with relationship was wrong. And then some of the behaviors that I saw adult men portrayed was limited. It wasn't enough. So that's past stuff. So when you look back at your past, not because you had both parents, not because you grew up in a middle class community, not because you went to a good school, not because you got good grades, not because you always looked good and appealing and a lot of people wanted to talk to you, meant you had a lot going for you in regards to not having addressed some stuff that was issue centered, that threw off you a little bit, that messed you up, that continued to mess how you spent your money, how you eat food, how you live, how you have relationships. Man, look at this stuff. I ain't no therapist. No, I'm not. But I know if you don't go back there and look, study, assess, and identify so that you can chart your course differently in the future. I'm charting my course differently. In this next window of my life, I wanted to be the best of my life, but I have to constantly look back and adjust. What did I learn from the past? So I talked to prisoners last week. I talked with some prisoners and I told them, I know my triggers now even. Some people have never even figured out what is that. They just know something triggered them and they don't even know why. Well, we'll talk more about it this week. Don't miss this week's series, Past, Present, and Future. Why we have to learn how to work with all 3 of them so that we can live life effectively. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.